save all your receipts, all your family receipts, and then when a month goes by, that's 4 weeks, add them up for a month and see how much you spent on those items for a whole month. Your family, you and your family will be shocked. I know you will. You'll be surprised at how much you spend. You can blow it off and say, "Ah, well, I'll work on it." But no, write it down, because when you write these things down, you can see what's happening. Save your receipts. Keep going. Just don't do it for a month, but keep going and see. And when you add these up for a week, bi-weekly or monthly, you should be able to see your unnecessary spending. And actually, if you was to alleviate some of that unnecessary spending, and this is what you'll use to apply to debt number one, which is your lowest debt. You'll apply this to that debt, and say, for instance, your furniture store bill. If you was able to come up with, let's say, $150 a month, and you paying that, throwing an extra $20, that's $170 that you can apply, to that furniture store bill. You just about cut it in half. One more month, and you wiped it out. And then what you used to wipe out debt number one, you add it to your monthly bill that you'd pay for debt number two, which is a car in our example. Okay, moving along. Using this system, you'll amass an army of debt-destroying funds that you will push uphill, totally eliminating all of your debts in as little as 5 to 7 years, including your house mortgage. Don't think that's possible? Read Dave Ramsey's book, Total Money Makeover, or ask some of these debt-free gurus or any financial advisor out there. They know this system. That's how wealthy people stay wealthy. They don't owe nobody nothing, and they don't put nothing they own at risk. I don't have wealthy people for friends, but if I read it from books, I tend to want to believe those guys who wrote them books and who are wealthy. Rather than taking advice from somebody who's broke or in my situation, I'm going to basically be like them, broke and in my situation. But advice for somebody who has a dozen times more money than I do, I might tend to want to listen to them or listen to a book they wrote. I don't know them personally, so I have to read their book. So that will alleviate some procrastination right there, or some of the doubters out there. You don't know any super rich people. They don't know you, because we're just basically working class citizens. Well, you have to read their book. It's not like, you can go next door and there's somebody who's a multimillionaire. No. So it's keeping it real. Keep things real. Okay. Okay, now, how this is possible, especially to eliminate your mortgage, well, actually, the credit that is granted to you is based on your income. And your income will be capable for this, type of example, basically alleviating your mortgage and all your expenses. For another example is, say, for instance, if Donald Trump, Oprah Winfrey, some well-known figures. And when we think of them, we think of millions of dollars. Now, you think you'd see them with a Capital One Visa that's got a credit limit of only $1,000? You think you'd see Oprah Winfrey with a credit card like that? No, she would be granted a credit card that would be probably as much as Capital One is worth. She should probably be billions of dollars. I don't know. So that's just another example. So actually, she'd be granted credit that would be worth tens of millions of dollars. And so, with that being said, if she had a house mortgage that was like $20 million, of course she'd be able to pay cash for it. But just for an example, she'd be, if she had a whole lot of debt and she wasn't able to pay cash for that $20 million mansion, using this system, she would probably be out of debt in 5 or 7 years. So actually, the credit that's granted to working class people, if they use this system, it should apply to them just as well. But if you're not willing to get rid of the cable TV or do something as drastic as getting rid of one of the cars, or maybe an old car you got sitting on the side of the house that's in good shape that just needs a battery, well, you're probably going to be sitting where you're at right now. I did make a little example here. I wanted to show you all. Now this here is a better example. It's a breakdown of the system here. Okay, now you got, okay, furniture bill, $300. I don't know if y'all can see that. Okay, let's say you pay $10 a month on your furniture bill account. Using this system of finding out all your wasteful spending, for example, you and your family will be able to come up with $150 extra every month. So you take the $10 a month that you owe on your $300 debt, and you add it to the $150 that you was able to save up with your family, extra expenses that you was able to really squeeze out, just wring all that extra wasteful spending out, and you come up with $160. That's the $10 plus the $150 comes to $160. Okay, you take that $160 and you subtract it from the $300 debt that you owe, which is your furniture bill. You have $140 left. Just that simple. Reading, writing, and arithmetic. Arithmetic, something we learned in school. Let's use it. Okay. One more month, you wipe that baby out. That beats paying just the minimum. The minimum you'll be paying on that debt for another a year, a couple of years, or something like that, or more. You know, so I mean, why not wipe it out and be through with it? Now, car number one. Let's say car number one is the next highest debt. Now, if this was a real life example, this particular example, these people probably wouldn't be in that much extreme debt, because if this was an example for someone who's in very serious debt, there'd be several credit cards in between this lower debt and the car, and they would not make it to debt number two. But this is moving on here. Car number one, which basically is, say, the husband's car. And I call that car number one. Car number two would be the, let's say, the wife's car. You might have a more expensive car, just for an example. You know, and so here's the next highest debt. Let's say you got a pickup truck, and he owes $5,000 on that pickup truck. Okay. Let's say he's paying $450 a month for the pickup truck. He's able to take that $160 a month after he took care of, or they took care of debt number one, which is the furniture store bill. They're able to take that $160, put a little bit more light to him, lean it back toward the room light. Okay, he's able to take that $160 and add it with the $450 a month payment that he owes monthly on his, this is the minimum amount he owes monthly on his pickup truck. So adding both of those together, he's able to come up with $610. Now, if he was to pay that every month, that would accelerate car payment number one. Now, just think, if this, from this example, if this family decided to get rid of the cable TV or sell a few items out of the house, and yeah, even start packing a lunch, you know, they would bring that car number one down relatively quickly. So they would be able to alleviate both these debts here probably in a year or sooner, depending how serious they are as far as getting out of debt. And if this was a real life example and this couple was paying, let's say, $1,500 a month for a house mortgage, they would probably be able to pay $3,000 or maybe even $4,000 a month on that mortgage. And during that process, if things break down, say for instance, if you need a new stove or a new dryer or dishwasher, you would stop the debt elimination campaign. Take that extra payment, which, let's say for instance they got rid of car number one, and they was able to use that $610 a month. They can go buy another dryer or a dishwasher, or maybe even get them repaired. Once they've taken care of that, then they can get back on the debt destroying campaign. That should be the priority in life.